So this is my magnolia tree. It's a summer blooming magnolia, and Landon is going to prune some of these leaves off so Peggy and I can test the different magnolias, one grown in Florida and one grown here in Victoria, and test to see how the worms do composting these waxy shiny leaves. All right, the race is on. I am going to start our magnolia leaf challenge, and I have chosen Eat My Shorts as the lucky bin that's going to take this challenge. I'm doing this in conjunction with Peggy from Peggy Helbling's Garden What You've Got YouTube channel. Check her out. She's in Florida. She's using a Florida magnolia. I'm using a summer magnolia that is evergreen here in Victoria, British Columbia. So it's not only coast to coast, it's diagonally across the North American continent that we're doing this. All right, so Eat My Shorts has had a recent harvest. It's been 9 days since I've been in here. I notice again the bin is drying around the edges. That's going to happen with a bin that doesn't have a lot of bedding bulk. So let me just make sure there are no worms on this paper. Nope, nothing that I can see. And I'll just put it somewhere safe just in case. I've seen one fungus gnat fly out of here. Again, one of the perils of shallow bedding is the fungus gnats can find their way to food. Also, it's seedling season. I'm sure everyone's starting a garden here in the Northern Hemisphere, and I've got seedlings all over the house. A little worm there in the creases of the cracker box. So by folding it in on itself, I'll make sure he stays nice and moist. Here's a little pill bug. And Peggy, that's my secret weapon. I've chosen a bin that has lots of these pill bugs. Let's see. I know the harvest pulled out some of them, but there are pill bugs in here. Well, there's one right there. Oh, he's going to roly-poly on me. There he is. And right there, he's bigger. And here's one of his friends. So yes, there are roly-polies in here, and according to Bentley Christie, you need these chewing critters in order to break leaves up so that they can be digested by worms. Ha. So let's just turn this dry material over into the feeding zone and kind of equalize the humidity, and then I will assess where the best place to feed is. Okay, hello wormies. You are going to get magnolia leaf today. So you can see the castings on the bottom here accumulating. Lovely. Look at the pill bugs. My little pill bug army is going to take care of these leaves, Peggy. I've got high hopes for the pill bugs to help the worms out. Also, this lovely microbial mixture, that this bin is one that turns over quickly. I've been adding natural leaves to it to enrich the microbiome. There's one of the needles from my pine tree. But last time I actually added shredded paper, shredded newspaper for the most part, that had been aging out in rainwater on the deck. And this is it. I noted in my last video that I wasn't worried about it going clumpy, and I'm not. Like this is a modest little clump here. Worms are in it. Baby little worms are in it. They like the folds. And so that's good. I'm not going to look to harvest this bin, obviously, for a couple of months at least. So it's okay that there's some clumpier newspaper, and I'm going to be adding some office paper today that similarly might go clumpy. This is a piece of polyester from the old shorts. So yeah, so the moisture is holding its own. You saw the dry edges. I wouldn't say I would be able to squeeze out a drop. Maybe only in these, if I could accumulate enough of these black castings in one handful, I could get a drop out of them. But by the time I mix in all this other stuff, definitely not. So, I'm just turning this over. Poor wormies. They're going to feel like they've gone to the fairground. But I had to get the moisture equalized, and actually I even want to get this dry corner that's under the shorts material equalize, because look, it is powder dry over there. You can see the powdery dryness, which when the microbes dry out, then they stop working. So you need to keep the bin moist for the worms, but you also need to keep the bin moist for the microbes. But you can see this already looks better. I've equalized the moisture, dealt with a few clumps like this, but look at the worms love the clumps. Don't worry about it. Okay, I think because this is a challenge, and I'm going to be coming back to this obviously for a while until these leaves are eaten, I think I will go right down the middle. I've pushed enough moisture out to the edges that they'll be fine. The edges will be fine. I'll put the shorts material over there with its sister waistband. So I've cleared some bottom space. I'm going to be building right on top of a cocoon. That's okay. So first order of business is some bedding. This bedding is in the same bucket that I was collecting rainwater, and the only moisture in here is rainwater. There are a few remaining old pieces of paper and a few remaining, very few remaining scraps of leaves. But most of this paper has just recently been stirred in, and it will, similarly with last week's or 9 days ago, it will clump. But that's our little nest that we've created for my magnolia leaves. Now, here's I asked Landon to cut me some magnolia leaves, and he cut a bud off. Sigh. These are summer magnolias. If that developed into a blossom, it would be 12 inches across by August. Just beautiful. But the nice thing about him cutting this is he's given me a stem, so it's going to be easy to find it in the bin. It's 3 smaller leaves, actually. He didn't go higher up the tree to where the leaves get bigger. So when we were pulling away from the magnolia, I pulled some of the dry leaves. So there's one of the dry magnolia leaves, 2 of the dry leaves, a bigger one and a smaller one. So there we go. And ooh, even as a dried leaf, you can see the coating on it. And this is what makes the magnolia, I think, such a challenge, is look at the waxy, shiny coating on it. So worms, nope, pill bugs. You got to help the worms out. So I'm going to put the food right on top of here. This is my regular food scraps, but it's got moisture in it, so you're going to see some liquid coming in because I'm just pouring it from the food container. This bin is as a newish bin. Danger of drying out, so I want the moisture to come into this bin. So there, and then we'll just set the food container there while I grab some of this food and put a nice generous feeding there, and I'm going to spread that out because that's too thick in the middle of that feeding. So I want to spread it out over the entirety of the leaves as well. No messing around here. I want to get the pill bugs and the worms interested. Maybe not the stem. The challenge is the leaves. The stem, I think, will stick around longer. Okay, and now some bedding. The food scraps also have pulverized eggshell in it. I'm being very generous with the bedding because this bin is shallow. And after a recent harvest, you saw I saw one fungus gnat flying out. So in order to cover up the food scraps, I need to build this bedding up again. So I'll just pull in some of the microbe-rich material from around. There we go. All right, so that's our magnolia leaf challenge. On to you, Peggy. Let's see what your worms can do. Bye for now.